रंग बरसे अरे रंग बरसे भीगे चुनर वाली रंग बरसे रंग बरसे भीगे चुनर वाली रंग बरसे रंग बरसे भीगे चुनर वाली रंग बरसे
Our fellow artists, ladies and gentlemen, it's difficult to say how happy I am to be in this group here this evening. Having grown up in colonial Guyana, I could not imagine a British governor living in Government House, having this type of ceremony on the lawns of his residence. Certainly is a great change from when I was a youngster in colonial Guyana to what we can enjoy in independent Guyana. I'm happy for several reasons. One is that we saw this evening an expression of culture which is part of the Guyanese experience, which started to flourish in, I would say, in much a wider sense than during colonial times, because when you were growing up, Pago was not observed as a national holiday. Diwali was not observed as a national holiday. These are some of the gifts of independence. And they contribute to national unity because it helps to understand, it helps us to appreciate the differences in Guyana's culture and also the uniqueness and the features of Guyanese culture which unite us. I have some experiences. I have a nephew who was passing through Houston Airport some years ago, and he saw somebody she looked like Guyanese, an Indian woman. Of course, he didn't know because this is an airport. He went up to her and said, "You want some mithai?" She said, "Yeah." "You want some mithai?" And that was the bond. Because he recognized her as a Guyanese. He asked her if she wants some mithai. And I don't know when last she had mithai. He took out some mithai and he gave it to her. And for that moment, two Guyanese met in Houston Airport in Texas. But it shows you that we come from so many shared cultural experiences. Before many of you were born, about 4 to 5 years ago, I was in New Delhi. And I had the opportunity to see a magnificent cultural show. It was around about January. It's very cold. I didn't realize New Delhi was so cold. And you saw the complexity of Indian society. Maybe some people in Guyana think that India is one race, one culture, one religion. But what I saw that night, there were people of absolutely all complexions, from very pale, very white to very dark. And there are people of completely different ethnic background, completely different religious background, completely different languages. But when you go into India, you see what a beautiful but diverse society it is. Here in Guyana, we don't appreciate our diversity. And as Brother Ravi said, we tend to set ourselves in little compartments sometimes, in enclaves. But I can go to an Islamic Qasida competition over at Anna Katrina and enjoy it. A couple of weeks ago, I can go to another Hindu ceremony at the ashram to celebrate Shivratri. Here, I can come this evening and appreciate a Guyanese festival. And I wish, having gone on all of the regions of Guyana, I wish that some of these ceremonies are not confined to the coastline. They can go into some of the rivers and creeks, go into some of the other communities, indigenous communities, so people could understand our society much better. When I campaign, and I've done a lot of campaigning over the last 6 years, I can tell you that, there's some areas I go and I don't speak English, because I have to get an interpreter. There are many people in Guyanese who prefer not to listen to English or not to speak English. And among the indigenous people alone, there are about 9 different languages. And if I want to be understood, I still walk with an interpreter. I may try to say something in English and they would look at me, and the interpreter would translate what I said, and everybody would start to laugh, because the interpreter would be able to interpret much more richly what I'm trying to say. But here in Guyana, you mustn't assume that everybody is the same. There are people who still cling to their cultures, cling to their religion, cling to their different languages, and we have a duty to try to understand. Now, Ravi has explained the Chowtal. Again, when I was in India 4 to 5 years ago, I did learn to count, but I can't count too well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I know up to 5, right? But I did figure, that the tal represents the different musical, the variations in the musical. You've been playing the musical. I know what you call it, the tals, the rhythms, and the chow is the 4. 1, 2, 3, chow. The second count up to 5, not punch. But again, this is a gift of India brought from the Bhojpuri regions, which we have maintained for over 178 years. And as it said, it may survive in Trinidad or Suriname or Guyana, but it is starting to die out in the land of its birth. But the fact that you've been able to preserve this tradition and this custom and still find joy in it, and other people can find joy in it, shows the power of culture, the power of retention of these norms, and also not only your own ability to retain those norms, but to spread in the new generations that are coming up. And I would like to ask that maybe from time to time, just as you come to State House, go to other areas of Guyana and let people understand. I said this today to Muslims, I said, let people understand the joy of Qasida. Let people understand the joy of Chowtal. Tomorrow we observe a festival which perhaps is more joyous, is one of the most joyous festivals in all of Guyana. The color, the sheer fun, the vigor, the vitality, it says everything about spring, it says everything about regeneration, it says everything about rebirth, and you should not be surprised that literally within hours of Holi, Christians celebrate Easter. Why? Easter too is a festival of spring, and it's a festival when in the Middle East, where of course Christianity was born, where Islam was born, where Judaism was born, it is at this time of the year that we celebrate the end of winter and the start of the time of the year when people are seeing regeneration and they start to replant for the new year. Some people do things which they don't have an idea what the causes are. You know, at Easter time, you know, people talk about Easter eggs. Jesus Christ has nothing to do with eggs, I can tell you that. But people speak about Easter eggs, and they have chocolate eggs and painted eggs and so on. Sometimes you see rabbits. You know what rabbits are famous for? Not crucifixion. Multiplication. So it is a time of procreation. That's what it's all about. So Holi is part of that tradition when all of us celebrate a regeneration, and I hope we get some rains because there's some El Nino affecting us in Rupununi. So I hope that there's some rains. Every time there's Pago, there's rain. And in my family, we observe Pago for different reasons, because my first daughter was born on Pago Day, and my second daughter was born 2 years later on Pago Day. So we can't forget Pago. They can't forget Pago. So, my brothers and sisters, we are celebrating an important festival. I had an Indian professor once who said that he comes from a part of India where they don't celebrate Pago. So I said, are you serious? Are you sure you came from India? He said it's basically a time when winter ends and spring and, you know, spring starts and people plant again. But where I come from, there's no winter and there's no spring. There's just, you know, perpetual summer. So we find that in North India, where this festival comes from, and in South India, you know, the customs may vary. Similarly at Diwali, when there's the onset of the autumn or winter, you might find that the festivals may differ in different parts of India. It's all about the complexity of that great subcontinent. So tonight I'm very, very happy because I feel like a Guyanese. I feel part of everything you've done, everything that you involved me in, and I hope that a festival like this continues, but I hope that it spreads to other communities so people can understand. One of the great deficiencies of our country is ignorance. People just do not know much about the beliefs and the customs and the cultures of other people, regardless of what we say. Many people do not really understand. Maybe they tolerate. They know they shouldn't interfere or speak out of turn. But they don't understand the depth of the affinity which we have, and sometimes people make a lot of mistakes when they take others for granted. In Christianity, for example, even among Christians, there is a wide range of diversity. I for one, I'm an Anglican, but Then you have people in the 7 Days Adventists, Methodists, Presbyterians, Roman Catholics. When I was at Bartic, I went to an Anglican school. Then I went to WIM. I went to what is called the Church of Scotland School. Then I came to Georgetown. I went to a Moravian school. So then afterwards I went to Roman Catholic school. So by the time I was 11, I said, oh boy, what is going on here? How many gods are there? One. But it shows you that we all come to the same God, the same Creator, by different routes. By different routes. And it is good for us to learn to appreciate how seriously other people take their faiths, because we would then appreciate better not only ourselves, that we are not entitled to be exclusively hateful of other religions. We must be tolerant, because other religions may have truths which we ourselves may not be able to discover, particularly the benefits of compassion, which all religions preach. And it's important for me because at Christmas time last year, December, I said, you know, mother's place is with her children. And I'm not going to keep a woman locked up there because she's selling a few joints of ganja. And I let out some women. Yeah. I let 11 women out. Somebody wrote saying, why not more? I said, well, only 11 qualified. But, I mean, I'm not going to let out any murderer, you know, or anybody trafficking in cocaine. But I believe a woman's place at Christmas time or any time of the year is with her children. Who looks after the children? You have 5 children. Who looks after the children when she's doing 3 years in jail for possession of ganja or trafficking in ganja? So it is part of my compassion. And I can do that under the Constitution. I don't break the law. The Constitution allows me to do that. And I believe that all of our religions teach compassion. Hinduism teaches compassion. Islam teaches compassion. And when we lose that compassion, when we lose that love for fellow man or woman, we take a dangerous road, my brothers and sisters, I tell you that. When we start to hate, we see what is happening in countries where there is hatred. I don't know of any religion which tolerates hatred, which tolerates murder, which tolerates the taking of human life. We in Guyana are like in an oasis of tolerance, a quiet place where I'm not aware of any person of any religion taking up a weapon against people of other religions. And tonight, this is what we see here. We see tolerance, we see an expression of joy, an expression that should be taken to other citizens of this great land. I believe in national unity. I don't mean that we must erase differences. I don't believe that we need to pretend that we're all the same. There's unity in our diversity. Just as by the age of 11 I could have gone to 4 different Christian schools, I'm not coming out hating any one of them, but appreciating the differences. Similarly, I can go to a masjid. I remember when I went to one masjid, I went early because when people invite me for something at 6 o'clock, I tend to go at 6 o'clock. And you know the Muslims, they tend to pray on time. Sometimes they have a computer and the computer or the cell phone gives them an alarm when it's time to pray. And studying in Nigeria, northern Nigeria, which is almost completely Muslim, sometimes you might be in a conversation. When the time comes, they break the conversation, go pray, come back and continue the conversation. But the point they're making is that punctiliousness about observance of the religion, and it is something that we must be tolerant about, something that we must appreciate in Guyana. As a Christian, I am respectful of other religions. As Hindus, I've always been assured that you are respectful of my religion. I don't think there's any occasion in which, you know, people will try to force me to go to a masjid or force me to go to a mandir or force me to understand their beliefs. But there must be more. I would like to propose during my tenure of office that we produce texts, maybe a real history of Guyana, which pays tribute to the various cultural and historical threads which come together to create this Guyanese society, this tapestry of Guyanese society. There's no one book that does it. There's no one book that explains all of these threads. And sometimes we forget that on the 3rd of May, I think the 5th of May, sorry, we not only celebrate the arrival of Indians, we celebrate the arrival of Portuguese, who came from 1834. In January, we celebrate the arrival of the Chinese, and we celebrate in the arrival of Indians in 1838. So we have to understand that this country is not just made up of one ethnic group or two ethnic groups or three ethnic groups. And we must understand there was a man living here called Arthur Chung. He was Chinese. There was a man living here called Daniel Ramata. He's Indian. There's a man living here named David Granger. He's of African descent. So we must understand these things. It doesn't matter what ethnicity I am. I'm Guyanese, 100% Guyanese. And you all are free to come back here next year. So thank you, members of the Swayamsevak Sangha who arranged this beautiful ceremony. For me, it is very significant. It's a celebration not just of Holi, but of our Guyanese-ness. I'd like to invite you to keep on doing our work, not only in your own communities, but also in public places. And as you can see around Georgetown, we will open more and more public places so that we're not closed in by bush and garbage. You'll be able to go to pleasant places, safe places at evening with lights and no mosquitoes, and you'll be able to perform your cultural activities. I always remember after 2000, or before 2000, Camp Street used to be a very bad place for pedestrians. If you wanted to go from Lamar Street to Church Street, you had to walk on the side of the road and dodge the motor cars and the motorcycles. But a group of people, many of them Portuguese, completely rehabilitated the pavement, we call it the pavement, between Lamar Street and Church Street. And the next year, you saw Hindus with what is called rangoli, with the rice, colored rice and so on, because it was rehabilitated and it was a pleasant place to go during Hindu ceremonies. It didn't matter who rehabilitated, but I would like to rehabilitate not only Georgetown, but all of the tongues in Guyana. And I've created 3 new tongues, and I've created some more. You just leave me here, and I create some more tongues. Mabaruma, Bartica and Lethem, and some more to come. Because, I'm talking too much, no? Yeah, well, you all play long, I can talk long. No, I believe, be careful now, right? Only when you travel, maybe to the West Indies, you realize how great a country Guyana is. When you go to Antigua and Anguilla, you realize that this country is a beautiful and bountiful country. Region 1 alone is 4 times the size of Trinidad and Tobago. Borima Waini region, northwest, is 4 times the size of Trinidad and Tobago. And when you go to Mabaruma, I cannot imagine how people can expect Mabaruma to administer a region that is 4 times the size of Trinidad and Tobago. Mabaruma gets 5 hours light a day. Everything run down. It is resupplied by an old ferry called Lady Northcote. I've made Mabaruma into a town, and I want you all to go to these towns. Take your culture. Every single region must be administered by a tongue. And we must go to these regions and occupy them with our Guyanese spirit. And that's what I want to see. Guyanese culture spreading to all the corners of this country. We're bigger than England and Scotland combined. We're bigger than England and Scotland combined. And I want to see this culture, whether it's indigenous culture, whether it's Hindu culture, Islamic culture, Christian culture, African, Indian, Chinese, Portuguese culture, spreading throughout this country and making us all proud of the tapestry, the complexity of this great nation, this great people. Great things are ahead for us, Guyanese. Great things are ahead for us if we are tolerant to each other and if we have ceremonies like this going on year after year. Thank you very much. I am very proud, very pleased. I don't normally talk a lot, but when I talk a lot, it means I'm very happy. Thank you, and happy Holi.
David Granger, celebrating Holi with the first family. Holi with the Prezi, Holi with the Prezi. Guyana president joining with us. We know President Granger like we Chowtal. Playing Holi for golden jubilee. Playing Holi for golden jubilee. Singing with the Dola, Quintal and Dancehall. Filling up the place with colors of all. Filling up the place with colors of all. HSS playing Holi for golden jubilee with the Prezi playing Holi.
सोने की थारी में जो ना परोसा,
सोने की थाली में जो ना परोसा,
अरे सोने की थारी में, हाँ सोने की थारी में जो ना परोसा, अरे खाए गोरी का यार बलम तर से रंग भर से, और रंग भर से भीगे चुनर वाली रंग भर से,
भीगे चुनर वाली रंग भर से।
लौंगा इलाची का, अरे लौंगा इलाची